Well, today we're out here at Doc Hollis Lake on the Sandy Sanders Wildlife Management Area, and we are fly fishing for sunfish, mostly bluegill and red ear. I'm gonna catch a big one while you're throwing him back.
There you go.
Oh, let it go. And I'm in the tree. You got the heavy hook set on him.
Yeah. Just on a little purple pheasant-tailed nymph off a grasshopper imitation, just dropping down below it.
So you got two flies on there?
Yes.
And the top one floats, is that right?
Yeah, foam fly on top, drop something small down below it.
You're clearly better at this than me, Austin.
Nah.
Why fly fishing out here and not just a regular spinning rod and reel with a spinner or, you know, worm or something? What makes you choose fly fishing?
For me, it's just kind of wanting to try something new. Completely different tactic, more of a finesse tactic.
Yeah.
And honestly, sometimes it works better. There we go.
There you go.
On the top.
That's on your floater?
Yep, that was
Awesome.
on the grasshopper.
All
there
right.
you go.
First double. You know, sometimes these places, I think a lot of these fish see a lot of different lures. They see a lot of night crawlers, they see a lot of little spinners. And
yeah.
when you change it up a little bit, fly rod, throwing something they haven't seen, I think it really helps your catch percentage out.
Yeah.
This is a great little getaway here in western Oklahoma. It's pretty remote and isolated, so you really feel like you're by yourself. Can kind of get away from the city. Great fishery. This place has a great largemouth bass fishery as well as sunfish and channel catfish. I really enjoy fly fishing for sunfish. It's a technique that's different than what most people are used to.
Especially around here in Oklahoma, most people think fly fishing is pretty much a trout only type deal.
Yeah.
Bass.
Yeah, little bass.
And if you enjoy doing it and think you can only do it in, you know, Mountain State or maybe here in Oklahoma, Lower Illinois or something like that, it's pretty fun. Take it out to a place like this or a farm pond or whatever.
Oh.
Catch some sunfish.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. You know, I think most people, when they think about fly fishing in their mind, they've got a picture of a guy standing in a little stream. Oh, I've got two on, Austin. One on the top and one on the bottom.
There you go.
How about that? I don't know if I can get them in.
It's a pretty good one on top.
Yeah.
There you go.
How about that? Don't do that every day. See, and that's a nice bluegill there. I think we can catch them even bigger.
Yeah.
But that's a great one to start off with. Get him back. This time of year right now, the sunfish are spawning. So it can be a really great time to come out and fish. They're very aggressive. The males are on nests, so they're defending their nests. So when you throw a fly in there, they're pretty aggressive. They'll aggressively bite a bait or bite a fly. And so it's a really fun time, really great time to be out here fishing. Despite the heat, even though it's hot, the fish are out here biting.
Like we kind of talked about earlier, a lot of people think that fly fishing is a trout only kind of deal. That's kind of where the hype is, but pretty much anything you can fly fish for. I got friends that love to fly fish for carp and buffalo. I don't, but a lot of people enjoy that, but it sure is fun in these kind of smaller lake pond type settings to catch these sunfish. Pretty easy to bite, and it's a real good fight on a 5-weight or even smaller fly rod, and it sure doesn't hurt when you get a hold of a bass every once in a while too. That can be real fun.
You know, a lot of times when you're trout fishing in clear water, if you can see the trout, the game's usually over already. You know, they've spotted you and they don't want to bite. But these sunfish seem to bite a little better. They're not quite as scared. What does a guy have to do to get into fly fishing? I mean, does he have to go buy a really expensive rod, or?
Nah, I mean, if it's something you definitely just want to think you might be interested in, but don't want to be super committed, there's a lot of, here's another one. There's a lot of starter kits and things available at any of the sporting goods stores for the most part. Bass Pro, Cabela's, whatever.
Yeah, and you've got a much prettier cast than I do, and it seems like I'm tangled up all the time, but I'm still catching fish, so
yeah,
it's not really,
exactly.
you don't have to be a pro, right?
No.
I mean, you just have to have a little patience to get your tangles out of the line. And
yeah, it's, you know, takes a little practice in the yard or whatever, and
here's
like you said, just some patience. There you go.
For me, you know, this is a fun way to enjoy catching sunfish again.
Yeah, change it up a little.
You know, change methods, try something new.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of brings the excitement back from when you're a kid catching sunfish.
It does. And like you said earlier, I mean, this is probably one of the easier things to fish for, but just about anything, well, I don't know about paddlefish or something, but just about anything you fish for with a rod and reel, you can use a fly rod for, whether that be out on the lake, sand bass blowing up on the top, or
here's one of the things I like too. It's
whatever.
These small fish, even a fish that big is fun to catch on a fly rod.
I really enjoy the plains, the western part of the state. This is my favorite part of the state to spend time in. And it's pretty unique here at Doc Hollis Lake that we have a pretty solid, clear water, you know. It's unique for this area.
Sometimes I wish it was a little bit closer to home. It is a bit of a drive. We're out here in southwest Oklahoma, kind of in the middle of nowhere. But I think that's one of the things that makes this place so neat. You know, you've got the scenery, you've got the lake here. It kind of feels like you're almost in a different state, in a western state sometimes. There's really no cell service to speak of, so we're kind of isolated. There's no real gas station or convenience store close by. It's almost like we've gone on a short little vacation trip somewhere to fish a foreign place to us, but we're still here in the state. That said, you want to make sure you're prepared when you come out here. Make sure you've brought plenty of water, especially now in the summertime. It's pretty hot. That hasn't slowed the fishing down. You know, the fishing's still been pretty good even though it's hot, but make sure you bring water, make sure you bring some food. You know, let some folks know where you're going before you leave home. Like I said, there's no cell service and it's a bit of a drive. So, well, there's plenty of great fishing opportunities, you know, around Oklahoma City and closer to home. This is a great spot if you're looking for a little getaway, a little vacation, if you will. You can come out for the day or you can come out for the weekend and camp. With the scenery here, in the different setting, it's almost like you've gone out to another state, like you've gone out west somewhere in New Mexico. It's a great short weekend getaway spot that I'd recommend for anybody who just wants to see something a little different than they've seen in Oklahoma and have a great time fishing. Yeah,
if you haven't been out here, this is a large area, large WMA, lots of recreational opportunities, hiking, biking, fishing, hunting, whatever's in season. And if you love to fish, come out here. If you don't, you might as well fish while you're out here. And fly rod's just another way to do it, change it up, something interesting to try, and yeah, it's fun.
And probably get some water so I don't die of dehydration.
A little more humid out here than what you would normally expect, I guess.
So what I've got here is a hopper dropper setup. This is a grasshopper imitation. I've got this tied onto my my leader. Like I said, that floats. Below that, I've tied another line from the hook of that down here to this little woolly booger. Now this will sink. This is great right now when these sunfish are on beds. This will sink down, and when it gets close, they pretty aggressively strike that.